To my building of a personal learning network. I was reflecting on where I started out, and I realized that I've kind of always been a lifelong learner, a personal learner. At the beginning of my career, this was more in the form of PD. So, quite often, I would attend conferences that were put on through my school, my division, or my province. I've been to conferences in parts of Canada and in the States, and I've always kind of loved to learn about my job and what it is I do. It was only when I became a teacher librarian that I started to feel a need to learn more. I felt like I didn't know what I was doing. And so when I discovered what a personal learning network was, I was quite happy to see that I could help myself along my way on this journey. I think when I started building my personal learning network, it started out pretty simple, pretty old fashioned. I was hired on in the fall of 2011 as our teacher librarian at my school. I'd been there for 7 years previous, and so I had a history at that school. I was known in the building, which almost made it difficult in its own way, but that's another conversation. And the way my personal learning network started was once a week I would receive a magazine in my interdivisional mailbox. And so it'd be a school library journal, a Voya, different library or book type magazines. They would arrive, my library tech would set it in my office, and the week would be busy, and so I wouldn't get to it. And the next week, another one would arrive, and before I'd know it, I'd have a huge stack of library magazines sitting there. Made me feel very incompetent because here I was, the librarian, with all these overdue magazines. My problem was I felt like I needed to read every single thing in every single magazine, and so I just didn't know where to start. It took me about 7 months to realize I don't need to read the entire magazine, just pick a few articles, read those, and pass it on. And so it started to ease, and the pressure started to let go, which was good. So then my personal learning network went from being magazine based to online. I would go to PD sessions and talk to other librarians, and they would talk to me about different librarians that they knew in the world through the internet. And they mentioned some names, and so I went online and started to explore these people, and I found several I really enjoyed. So Joyce Valenza was an example of one. She was really highly recommended by our divisional coordinator. Through Joyce Valenza, I also discovered the Unquiet Librarian, who I personally really enjoy, and the Daring Librarian, and so I very quickly followed their blogs, added them to my bookmark bar, and pop in on a regular basis to see what's new in their worlds and what they have to teach me. I've been part of Pinterest for almost 2 years. I love my Pinterest account. I spend a lot of time on Pinterest. And one of the things I love to pin are educational ideas, educational resources. And so I have a library ideas folder filled with pins. It's full of displays and ideas and thoughts, both for the elementary kids and for the older students, which is fabulous because I'm at heart more of a junior high school teacher. And so I sometimes forget what I should be doing for the little ones in grades 1 and 2. So I do a lot of my personal learning online through different places like this. And then I moved that personal learning network into the social media world. I've had a Facebook account for a very long time. I've normally used it as a personal account with pictures of my daughter, keeping in touch with friends and family. And over the last year, I've started to use it in a more professional way. And so I follow the Teacher Librarianship Distance Learning page. A friend of mine who used to teach at my school is now a teacher librarian in Victoria, and so I follow her curriculum library page. They're great resources to check for current articles and videos and links, thoughts in our world, and different places that the library world should be moving. My Twitter account is definitely a failure. I have one. I have a lot of library people and library businesses that I follow. I just don't know what to add to Twitter yet. So I like to read things on Twitter, but I'm not really a contributor because I'm just not sure that anything I have to say is all that important. It's a goal of mine to start to develop my Twitter account in a more full and meaningful way. And then as a move in that contribution area, I've actually decided just this past week to start a blog. I'm not sure how this will go, but I have officially created one. And so I think this is my first step to move from being a lurker into a contributor. I hope to develop this blog fully and really make it a great resource for myself and for other teacher librarians. And perhaps someday I will actually have people following me and I'll be blogging to someone besides myself, which will be exciting. So here we go, onwards and upwards with our personal learning networks. It's an exciting journey.